And like you say, it was a culture shock to you too, because you didn't know what had actually taken place, and you brought up one good latent point. Most people, when they're away from an environment, they just have the snapshot of what that environment was when they was present in that environment. So in their mind, they still seeming, everything is gonna, Mr. So-and-so store is still there, Mama Green down there, and this, that, and over there. When they come back, they look for familiar situations, familiar places. Yes, and it's trauma when it's not there. Yes, they feel like they lost. Yeah. You know, where am I? Where did everybody go? It's like you say. It was like you was in a war. Yeah, yeah. It was like you was in a war. YoungEl, trauma. Give us an example.
How do we call?
I know.
Coming up. And I know every child, when we look, like a different phase and different age. You know, we was mostly like, we ain't supposed to be seeing, being around grown folk and grown folks together.
That's right.
But we, as children, everyone in there can relate to this. We listen, we hear, but they fail not to know that the child is listening. If you go to cussing at your wife, or you go to hitting at your wife, this, I remember one time, my stepfather had put at my mom. I ain't nothing but maybe about 3 or 4 years old, but I went up in there hitting.
Right.
You feel me?
Yes, sir.
So I went in there hitting without a contradiction. The mother turned on and said, oh, no, baby, no, go ahead on, because they was amazing. I'm just a little fella.
Right.
But as I began to grow and hear the things that they, you know, their friends come over, they be cussing and stuff like that, nah, man, quite naturally we go out and get with our friends then, right? We started doing it. And thinking like this is the thing we supposed to do, but when they go to telling you what you can't do and what you can't have, don't tell me nothing that I shouldn't do, and I look up you doing it. See, that'll cross my thoughts up. And then you'll call me disobedient, and I go to acting out in a certain behavior, in a certain character, you see what I'm saying? That normally within our every human body don't have to reach to the low, we can standify to the high. But as I begin to grow and witness things and bear witness to things, I come to myself, I say, well, I have to learn how to, you know, my thing, I don't like to take nothing from it. And that, if you call that trauma, that's trauma. Because when you was taking something from me, you know, my attitude and reaction would give off a different response to it. You see what I'm saying? And as we grow old, start growing older, we start thinking, by not being able to actually think before we act. Just like guys off in the military, could be shell shocked. They might hear some fire, some bullets. They may go, if they strapped, they might go to shoot.
Right.
You got some that hear shell shock and might go to hide.
Right.
Man, what is that? You know, it's a different way that you may be able, if you was beat on and misused and abused like that, man, and you hear somebody coming out, you're gonna do one or two things. You're gonna fall over, or they're gonna have you on the news. You understand me? Most want. So I started working with self, and I'm gonna have to be bear in mind when I went to getting them teachers really into me. Know what you leave, man, and what you're drawing up on the information and how it's been applied, and I started separating the divineness from general. But if I live in the general, man, everything's gonna be ugly. But if you take the divine and utilize it, and I said, cause we all come up out of it after 27 straight up calendar. Then I come out, man, what I thought would never go away. But the prophet did prophesy, I say one day that whatever was businesses is gonna be tall grass and ground. So I'm focusing now, thanks to the teachers of Noble Jubilee, man. And even the teachers of my parents, man, we ain't gonna neglect them. You understand? Because they taught us the ways and means. You don't see the old blind pig places and stuff like that, as we call it after hours and our trial. They say that was organized crime enforcement. You understand me? But now they broadcast it all over TV. You understand me?
Right.
I can't have our joint no more. Make me some dollars.
No, you can't.
You know, see, I think that's kind of like, I think we'll go with something like authority-like thing.
Yes, sir.
I can't make no money, but you can. But the same way you tell me it's wrong, it's unlawful, and we're going to put you in a cage. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's like that, but I have grown to better, to, you know yourself, you know, study yourself, and put yourself in other man's place. You see what I'm saying? If you don't want to be misused and abused, don't misuse and abuse nobody.
That's all.
You know, I think the biggest trauma I had, man, like, after coming home after them 31 years, you know, not really knowing that this era of time, they say stuff out their mouth, and they just say stuff. And you know what people, you know, like guys and women, they just say anything out their mouth. And what I learned is the trauma I felt was that we came from an era when you say certain things, you had to stand on. And so if you call somebody a bitch, you saying you was going the rest of the way. They do that freely and willingly, and don't understand the words create, save, and destroy. And that was kind of traumatized to me, because I found myself in an incident while I was doing paper, and I'm still on paper, about maybe 3 months ago. I found myself in a situation where a guy was in the store and the sister was playing the numbers, and he had the nerves to have an attitude because me and him came in at the last minute. So she playing a lot of numbers, and we might not be able to play some numbers. And so he bust out, oh, we gonna end up not being able to play those numbers. She playing, goddamn it, $100. And I say, hey, man, that lady got a right to play however many numbers she wanna play. We came in late, so if we don't make it, so what? Next time, come early. So I left it like that. I ain't think no more about it. Kind of knew the brother was a little bit off, you know, sick of reading. Scientists, we got to learn signs and symbols. It's for the conscious mind. But what ended up happening is that being traumatized and being whatever the way we was and doing the things, I run into him again. And I'm just telling y'all, minister, y'all understand how crazy this stuff is. I see he got some issues, so I'm trying to, every time he see me now, it's like I'm a psychiatrist. He's trying to get my attention so we can engage in conversation. I let him talk to me for a minute, hear him out. You know, I'm trying to be patient with the process. So I finally couldn't take it anymore. I said, no, bro, I got to go. You know, I listened to him for about 20 minutes, so I duffed. So one day, my wife going to the store, and she playing some numbers. And my neighbors, the old lady stay next door, she behind her, waiting to play some numbers. He come in there, and with that same stunt. Oh, man, she gonna play 100, we ain't gonna be able to play. So my neighbor said, well, when we get there, we'll get there. My wife, she looked back and see him, she figured, boy, gone crazy. She don't pay no attention. You know, but I ain't been out here to see this stuff like this. So I'm in the house, man, and he done, when my wife leaves, she tell him, when it's my turn, it's my turn. When your turn comes, you'll get your turn. So she leave on out. Now, he never said nothing to her, face to face. But when he leave and come down the street, he pull up at my neighbor house, because it's in the summer, and tell her, yeah, I know where she stays. Now, I'm in the house. I don't know this didn't happen. So when my wife, she come home, the neighbor tell her, yeah, you know that guy, he say, you know, you stay. So when my wife come in, she asked me, did you see it? Guy pull up in the truck. Now, mind you, let me share this with y'all so we got this understanding. Since we talking about this trauma.
Yes, sir.
All the time when I got here, I started going down every street where I stay to see where all these boys live, without them knowing I was doing it. Because I understood that any hour, anything can happen, and I know me. And so I made sure I knew where every one of them lived in the event that it got to this point.
Hopefully it won't.
Hopefully it won't.
Hopefully
I pray
it won't.
that it don't. I always do. Because I love our people. But I also knew what the traumatization was in me enough to know where to take me. I wasn't asleep to that. So when this incident happened and she asked me, I said, a truck? And she said, yeah, that guy down there to be always having something to say about people. And I said, what'd he do? And she said, he pulled up and said, he know where I stay, but he ain't never say nothing to me in the store. So, you know us. I'm traumatized. You done came and pulled up with my neighbor talking this crazy stuff. Man, you ain't got a clue. So I went, jumped in the car. Mind you, I know where everybody stay. I done went past his house 6 times. He done got the truck backed up far in the yard where you can't see it. But I know he stay right here in this little area. Now he done watched me from the house.
Hold
So,
on.
You got to hear this.
No, I don't want to hear the
Listen,
whole
no,
thing.
not the whole thing.
I
You
wanna
just
hear-
got to
no,
hear this.
well,
He done watched me.
If it was a good peaceful
And
ending.
yes, yeah, it's a peaceful ending because we here to talk about it. Hold on. It's a peaceful ending because we here to talk about it.
All right.
And I'm trying to tell you how this trauma worked. Me not really knowing it, when the man see me come by each time, he knew that he done something. But the seventh time, I'm like, yeah, the seventh time, I slowed down and started looking and see that truck in that backyard. And I said, this way it stay.
Right.
It's a couple houses off the corner. I play my mirror. When I turned the corner, he slid out the side door and jumped in the truck.
Hold on.
I'm just showing you more. Just for the moment. Just
Hold on. Now what you doing, you describing something.
Okay, let me go past that.
No.
Let me just go
Get
past
past
that.
the description because
So-
people may not know how to do what you talking about doing.
Let me go
and
past
you educate
that.
them.
So,
Don't do that.
yeah,
Don't do that.
listen. So what ended up happening is he ended up pulling out, and we see each other. And he jumped out the car like he got something. And that's what I'm telling you about how crazy this stuff is. And he started talking about, what you come around my house for? I say, man, didn't you just come around to my house, man? You know, because I'm trying to make sense of this. What's the matter with you, man? So then he started talking crazy. Remember I said we used to none of that.
Right.
And I'm having to remind myself that maybe he don't really know what he doing.
There you go. That's good. That's what
Maybe he don't really know what he doing.
Right.
And at the same time, I'm on paper.
Okay, praise Allah.
So now, this the reason why things occur the way they do. This is why I'm grateful to Allah.
There you go.
Because I'm on paper, so it makes me have to sit and rationalize my disposition.
Okay.
The pros and cons. Is he really serious that it's an immediate threat? Because if it is, then all is well. If it ain't, then let's look at how we can redo this on a reasonable basis. And so what I realized is that the boy is bipolar. Listen to me. I bypassed it and pieced him, and then he acted like he was following me. And then when I stopped to pull the truck over, he shot on off. I'm like, man, don't do that.
Okay, let me tell you about this here in dealing with trauma. You got praise Allah. You got people out here with mental disability.
That's right.
See, it's
And you got to understand that.
See, mental illness is elements that you need to talk about because it can come from people that have been institutionalized too.
That's
so they
right.
don't have the good rationalization of situations they may be putting themselves in dangerous situations or making other people think they're more dangerous than they really are.
And they really not.
That's
And
right,
let me
right.
say this. You hit the spot. Now that's what's going. You hit the spot. I see the brother about a day later.
Right.
And he come in the gas station. And I'm sitting in the truck finna pull off. And I decided to stop. And he said, what? I ain't did nothing. I ain't said nothing to you all day.
Right.
And I'm saying, did you forget what you said yesterday?
Yeah.
But it made me realize that we have to be considerate to the fact that some people's is suffering and don't know they suffer.
There you go.
And in order for us to overcome our own traumatization, we got to be considerate enough to know that we may be dealing with a situation that requires for us to think for the other individual as well as thinking for ourselves.
Okay.
So it allowed me to overcome the position that I had been used to because, you know, had it been some years back, I'm just being honest. You know, I'm grateful to Allah, man, for being able to understand it. I'm gonna tell you what I did. No, I'm gonna tell you what I did, Mo. This is no lie. I'm gonna tell you what I did. After that, I realized he's suffering.
There you go.
I see him the next day, and he on a bike, Mo. Now listen to me. And I comes out in the street in the truck. And he coming out the gas station, but he kind of see me and he don't really know if he should. Right. And I tell him, come on, man. Go on past. So he go past and trauma now. Remember, I'm talking about suffering
Yeah.
trauma.
You
And the
are.
first thing I got to think about is I should run his ass over. But I'm telling you, no, listen. So I said it again. Just to be honest, we ain't got to water nothing down. I know we ain't got to water nothing down. The truth gotta be said. I came to terms.
A little bit different.
I prayed, man. I said right there, this is no lie. I said right there in the truck. I'm telling y'all so you know. And I prayed to Allah.
Praise Allah. There you go.
Praise
Allah.
I said, teach me how to be humble enough to bypass this whole situation in the proper manner.
Okay, good.
And right after that, Mo,
I know this is your cousin, Mo, because y'all can go. Oh, you go okay after that?
Yeah, because I realized.
Nah, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read something. Hold on.
Okay, come on.
I'm going to read something to you about trauma. Because based upon your energy, you still delivering trauma. See that? No, you can't ignore that. See that? See, but did you see how he became animated and he came alive? Right? See, that's like reliving.
To be honest about it.
Yeah, but that you're right. You being honest
about
it. That's like reliving the trauma, because even as you were saying it, you were intensified with giving the synopsis of what actually had
because I was
taken place.
reliving it at that moment
There
to
you
make
go.
a point, but
No,
I passed it because of the fact that I'm not even indulging in it, Mo. There was an issue with
We gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about we had to talk about it, because you know me and you have a lot of
we do.
A lot. That's right. Yeah. FuquaBey, what are you talking about? Hold on. I see FuquaBey over there. Hold on.
See, it's a lot of us dealing with trauma right now.
Yes, sir.
See, and we all came out the same similar circumstances.
Yes, sir.
So we all understand where everybody coming from.
Yes, sir.
Because once you've been taken from society for a multitude of years, you automatically got trauma. Because you've been put in an environment that's not conducive to your growth. Unless you take the time to unfold yourself. So when we do come out here and we see things going on, like people trying to control you, tell you what to do, yeah, that's gonna give us trauma. We want to snap back. Who you trying to control? We just been put away for 37 years. You trying to control me? Put me in an environment, and then, like you said, people doing ignorant stuff, and you be looking at what the heck going on out here. There's some people going through a lot of traumatized stuff, and then they be acting it out on people. They say certain things, you be like, what? How are these people talking? Like, you know, it's amazing what's going on now, considering how we came from the 80s into now. But thank God, like the brother said, thank God for Prophet Noble Drew Ali to show us how to think. Because otherwise, we'd be the same way. But yes, we all demonstrating trauma, and we all going through that right now. But it's amazing, it's beautiful that we have brothers that we can come to and talk to, because we have all the similarities. You know, and we going through, so we help and support each other to carry on and keep moving day by day. Because it's tough and it's rough. And if you can't admit to that you're going through trauma, then you still got a problem. You know, because we all been taken from society and put in a cage like. So we all suffer from that. But thank God we all trying to do the right thing. And thank God for Prophet Noble Drew Ali to show us the way. That's right.
See, Gazelle, hold on, let me get this more here. See, Gazelle.
I remember I applied for a job at Home Depot. And, you know, the guy was talking to me, he's like, Derek, he showing me different things. And a lady walked up behind me, and she dropped a bunch of screws. And I swung around so fast, and I immediately, I was carrying, because I'm paranoid when I get out, so and my man looked at me like, Daryl, and I'm froze, because the minute who been inside, them cell doors, when they, boom, that's what I heard.
John Engel.
Like, I flashed back, and I just froze, and I'm like this, and I'm looking at the box.
What do you like that for, Mo?
Pardon me?
She probably threw a screw at her.
No, I said the Mo said I'm like this. He didn't say I was like this. He said I was like this.
I'm carrying.
Oh, you can't. Oh,
Legally.
okay, Mo. Okay. It don't make no difference if you go like that.
I'm dealing with trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I'm back in the cell.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
some guys would sell gangsters. They just, but then you had guys. When when the doors broke,
right.
That's when stuff was happening. When you move it. And so I'm looking at all
talk
these
about
people.
that.
And it's crowded. You know what I'm saying? In this little area. And so we checking out, but she dropped them box of screws, and now I'm angry. Once the light clicked back on, I'm angry because I don't recognize that I'm not in danger.
Boom.
At that
Boom.
moment, I'm in danger, and then my man is steady hollering my name, Daryl. And finally, when the light clicked back on, I'm looking at him, and he like, you can't work here. You know what I'm saying? And so now I know I'm dealing with some stuff. So now that ain't the right way to. But now I'm walking out of the gas station one day. I got a big old pit. He finna strong arm me. He's like, man, you got a couple dollars? And I'm like, looking at this big old pit, man, like I'm homeless. So I take a step back, and he stepped towards me. And I'm trying my best to move away from this situation, but again, now I tell him again, I said, listen, man, get the dog. And so now the light clicked off. So now I'm mad. Get the dog before you put him in the garbage can. Get the dog, man. You know what I'm saying? So again, but it's little stuff like that. I remember I was in an elevator, and a person touched me on the back, just touched me, and I didn't. All of those things are triggers for us. Like you talk about somebody asking you where you going. My sweetheart, where you going? Because that's you back in the cell where somebody was telling you where you going, when you coming back, you gotta be at a certain time, get on that bunk, you know what I'm saying? So I'm telling them, like, look, tone matters to me. Tone is the way you set. And I'm last a trigger. I was at a deposition, and there was a prosecutor that was talking to me, and he was the city attorney. First of all, he was really antagonistic. That's how it goes. This is adverse proceeding, adversarial proceeding. So he this close to me, he in my space. So I'm like, I don't want him in my space. You know what I'm saying? So and he keep talking to me, So I'm, he said, why are you backing up? But I don't even realize that I'm backing up. But he in my space. I don't want you in my space. You close talk. I don't want you that close to me. But he's trying to whisper something to me, but I don't know because you just a moment ago you questioned me like I'm enemy number one, man. You kept me on this thing for 5 hours, and now you want to talk to me nice, but I don't understand, So again, these are triggers, man. I remember when I first got out, somebody took me to Walmart. I almost had an anxiety attack. Yeah. I'm not used to being in such a big old space. I'm not used to being in this space, all these people moving around me. And I've had counseling. I've had, counseling. And lastly, I just say this. I was talking to this one therapist. She really didn't know nothing about it. She was addressing our group, and so I told her I like staying at home, And so she said, it sounds like you're self-isolated. And so I said, well, I just like my solitude. And so I said, and this is the reason why. When you're in such a small space, when you got hundreds, I said, when we have mass movement, and all the guys, y'all know what I'm talking about, it's between 200 and 500 guys moving with you at the same time. I'm talking about, you gotta get 10 minutes to get to where you going, to where you need to be, the doors are shutting again. And so I'm trying to explain to her, there's no way you can go in prison to be by yourself where cameras not watching you or somebody within a couple of feet of you. So I said, I enjoy being alone. I enjoy thinking my own thoughts and not having somebody else's energy in the room with me. I like being by myself. So when I explained to her what I was going through and where I came from, she was like, I am so sorry. She said, I have misdiagnosed, because she was used to treating drug addicts, alcoholics, gambling, anonymous, this type of stuff. She had never dealt with somebody who suffered and been incarcerated for 34 years, and just, so she was, and I'm explaining to her, there's no way you can go to be by yourself. So when I get those moments to be by myself, I'm enjoying those moments. And I said, listen, You want to call that self-isolation and all that? I'm calling enjoying my solitude. Being by myself, drawing up on myself. And if I want to go be with somebody or be around some people, I got that choice. But now, I like being by myself. So all of these triggers and
Thank you. Knuckles here, what you talking about? Oh, I'm gonna go to Marcus.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say that I had read some about nutritional trauma that you was talking about. You have spiritual trauma. It's trauma on every plane of existence that we live on, from nutrition to spiritual to physical. Thank you. And so we dealing with all different types of traumas. But the one thing that I learned this coming out because a psychologist told me about this, and they gave me some paperwork. So because I had all the same experiences other than the Walmart, I had a ball in Walmart the first day I got it. I had a ball. I ain't even gonna lie. All them women. But anyway, that was another story. But listen. But I done had a guy, I'm trying to talk to him. He looking at my car. And all I said was, young brother, is it a reason why you looking at my car window? And I'm talking just like I'm talking to y'all with a smile. And he said, Ripper, I ain't looking at your car. I said, brother, I just seen you at my window. He said, I suggest you back up before I blow your brains out. And I said, brother, I don't want no problem, because I'm about to take this gun from him and blow his brains out. But I had to snap back, because I'm not scared of guns. Most of us not scared of guns because we've been on the battlefield. So it don't mean nothing to us. But they don't know that. So I had to grab myself in that very moment. With 8 Mile and DeQuinda. I got this close to this little young guy. Make a long story short, he a gang member. My cousin at the head of the gang took me right to the little guy. He didn't even know that it was me he was talking to. My cousin at the head of the gang. I could have did anything to the gang. I still had it in my mind. Because of the stuff that certain guys in prison that do stuff that you never forget. Wow. I never forget to this very day, it's a guy that got out that did some stuff to me. Some guys know about it at Muskegon, and he out right now. Every time I see him, it crosses my mind, and I have to resort back to the teaching. Sometimes tears come in my eyes because I really want to murder, right? But I can never execute that type of actual thought because I'm bigger than that. But I was always taught that sometimes you don't got to do it to nobody, because if you already know what you'll do to them, it's already done. Somebody else gonna do it. So I didn't suffer that type of trauma, and I didn't suffer the type of trauma to where I done been around people. Just last night, I was with some people doing security. And you had one guy who came in with a gun, and my man said, I said, why you let him in with the gun? He said, he the police. I said, I wouldn't care if his mama was the police. You can't come in here with a gun. And I tell all the police that. If you ain't got on the police outfit, you ain't coming in here with a gun. I don't care about nothing else you got going. Because you about to come in here and get drunk like he drunk. And therefore, you about to become man-altered like he man-altered. And therefore, I'm about to become at risk like he at risk. Therefore, leave the gun outside. And lastly, I just want to say this here, man. The one thing that helped me through my trauma is when we resort back to a holy covenant of the Asiatic nation.
All right.
And they say, when you separate the world, remember the relation. Because the fact that I can hear of Samsudeen, or I can hear my brother Malachi, who I was in quarantine with, right behind him in quarantine, and I'm seeing turn the real. I didn't even know he was out. I'm thinking he just got somebody else doing this on Facebook. But when I think of seeing my brothers in FuquaBey, and I finally seeing this guy here, it makes me feel good. Because it lets us know that somebody is out here to know what we're really going through. And at any given time, if you truly got a bond with a brother, you can contact and say, man, let me holler at you, man. Let me tell you about this situation. And that brother gonna tell you like Corey X told me, say, you know that was stupid, right? See, we need them brothers around us that's gonna say, you know that was stupid, right?
Yes, sir.
Like what you just said, we suffering trauma.
Yes, sir.
If you look up the word retardation, anybody?
No, but
brother,
look
up the word retardation and find out what the word retardation means.
Yes.
Slow to process. We've been gone 28, 30, 40 years. We cannot process the information that they process out here. The babies pass us. These little babies, 3 years old, know this stuff we don't know yet. Why? Because we suffer from the true definition of mental retardation. They don't want to use it because it's used as a derogatory term. But that's what we suffer from. We are slow to process information because we were stagnated. That means retarded. We were stagnated. So I just want to say that, man, that if you read them teachings, man, them teachings gonna really guide you through some stuff, and they're gonna keep your hands off somebody's neck. And they're gonna keep that finger off that trigger. We know that because that's why you still sitting before us. That trigger wasn't pulled. And that guy, you ain't run over that guy on that bike, because I would have thought about running him over too.
Okay. So, okay. Listen.
We know we all in this, man.
Listen. Yeah, but it's real talk. But we won't. But listen here. Actually, listen. Stop. Listen. Bone, stop that. We ain't going back to what we used to be. We here now. See, we here now. We ain't going back. See, right now we butterflies. We ain't going back to be caterpillars. We ain't going back on the ground. We all the way up. So we definitely ain't stepping back there. So now we can remember those stages, but we ain't looking to fall back down. We didn't can't start too far. Now we got FuquaBey over here. Okay, somebody thought his name was FuquaBey Illustrates or Alexander Bay right here. Or where's Chestnut Hill at? Oh, yeah, okay. Hold up, Michael, hold up.
All right, so I'm gonna start here. Our environment dictate our
Introduce
actions.
yourself, brother, so they know.
No, sincere out LA. I'm gonna show you how this all ties in. I'm Sunni Muslim, born Sunni Muslim. So my foundation and my prison, my foundation and my principle is all related. So I'm gonna tell you how this room helps me deal with particular trauma. Right? So 17 years ago, this is my bunker. I get in a situation, I go to the hole. We all know how prison is. Everybody steal everything from you when you go to the hole. This man is my bunkie. You never seen. We've been bunkies for a while. But yet and still, y'all know the prison environment. People think you know the people around you until something happens. I go to the hole, I get packed up. He put every single item that I had in my bag packed up and made sure I got everything I had coming to me. Right? That starts a brotherhood.
Jesus, bro.
Right? While I'm sitting in the hole, he's in the cell next to me. See,